Hi, it's Sarah from the beauty school, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do this festive bauble nail art. So this is a really fun one for Christmas. It's a pretty easy application, but I'm going to show you the steps and break it down for you so as you can make this little nail art too. So my first two layers are going to be with the light blue color that you can see underneath this one. So when I am painting with gel polish, I always try to hold the gel polish bottle in the back palm of my hand. I don't want too much gel on the brush, so I wipe the stem a little bit and then half of the brush. And now when I go in to paint, I don't go all the way down to where the cuticle area would be on a natural nail. I go about 2/3 of the way down, spread that gel polish there, and then go in because there'll be a little bit less gel polish on my brush at this point, so I can get it, wiggle it into that cuticle and get it nice and smooth without having too much gel on the brush or creating a pool of gel down near that cuticle area. So I only want thin coats with the gel as well. It's much better to do a few thin coats, more thin coats rather than thicker coats. Okay, so that is one coat of that powdery blue gel polish color, and this one is a Jellyfit one, and the code is SS299. So it's just a really pale blue color. So I'm going to give that a cure for 1 minute. So now I'm going in with that second coat of that pale blue gel polish. Again, not too much on my brush. And I go about 2/3 of the way down the nail, smoothing that out. And then with the remaining gel that's on my brush, wiggle that into that cuticle area and smoothing all the way down the nail. Just making sure that I get a nice application there. Okay, and now that's ready for a second cure. So now the next step is getting all that base layer done. So I have a bit of glitter underneath the bauble there, and I've also got my silver string and my bow. So that is the part that I'm going to focus on now. I've also got a little bit of sort of snow around the edge as well, so we can do that now too. So first of all, I'm going to add some glitter in about the size of the bauble. So I've got a palette here which has some white gel polish, and that's actually a gel paint, so that's a really highly pigmented white gel that dries tack free. And then I've got some top coat there, and I've got some glitter as well. And I also have some dry glitter that I may add into that bauble as well. So this is like an iridescent type of glitter that will just look pretty in that bauble as well and just catch the light. Now I've got a liner brush, and this one's a really fine, thin liner brush. And I just find that that is a little bit easier for when I'm painting lines, but also even just for painting the circle for this bauble. So using that liner brush, I'll go into that glitter gel polish, which was another Jellyfit one. It's that one there, and it's like a sheer glitter with some flakes in it. It's SP14, and I'm just going to do a rough circle of where I want that bauble to sit. If you're doing just one bauble, then I think in the middle is a good idea, but if you wanted to do maybe two baubles, one smaller one and a larger one, then you would maybe do that off center a little bit. And I don't necessarily need the glitter all the way around. I might just put that around the edges, and I can grab a bit of that top coat as well if I just want it to be a little bit more clear in the center. And then I can pick up some of those dry bits of glitter and just focus them around the bottom bit. There's no rule with this. You can put the glitter wherever you like. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that, so I'll give that another cure. So now I'm going to go in with a silver to make that silver string, and this one is heavy metal ice gel, and it's a really really chromy type of silver. So I'm just going to get a little bit of that on my liner brush. I don't want too much. And I can use my palette if I've got too much on my brush just to tap away the excess. And I just want to paint a straight line from the top of where I made that circle all the way to the end of the nail. Okay, and now I'll give that another quick cure. The next part I'm going to do is this little like snowy ombre border around the edge there. So I'm using a little foam sponge, and I'll use that highly pigmented white that was on my palette, and I really want to just pat that out on the sponge until I get that ombre look on my palette. That's what I'm going for. I don't want too much white because I just want it to just be a little bit on the edge that looks a little bit like a snow border. And then back with my liner brush, pick up a little bit of that white and just do some little tiny kind of snow dots here and there. I'm not too worried if they're not perfect because I'm going to use that, go in with that sponge again and just pat them out a little bit, and it'll give that little bit of a snowy look. And now I will give that another cure. So now the bow here that I have on this one is actually a sticker, which makes it a little bit easier. You can paint that bow on there as well if you want, but just to make it a little bit quicker, you can use a sticker for this as well. Before I do any top coating, I'm going to pop this sticker on, and I can, because it's on a clear backing, I can change my mind and decide which sticker looks best as well. If I want a really big one too, I quite like this one. It's a little bit smaller, but you can choose whichever sticker that you like. And then I'll use my cuticle pusher just to gently lift that up. It is probably a little bit easier to do that with some tweezers or something if you have some. Okay, I'm just going to try to stick that on the edge there. And now I just want to position that right in the middle of that silver string there. Around about there. And then just using either the cuticle pusher, or I could use my finger as well, just pressing that sticker down. So now I want to top coat over the whole design, and I'm going to use a matte top coat because the bauble is shiny. I want that surface underneath to be matte, just so as it gives it a little bit of a contrast. And it's fine to do the top coat over that glitter area as well, because that will just encapsulate and hold all of that. And I'll give that another cure. Now I'm going to clean off my liner brush, and I'm going to start to build out that 3D area of the bauble. So you can, if you don't have a thicker top coat, I have an overlay top coat, which is from Jellyfit as well. So it's a little bit of a more viscous, thicker top coat. If you don't have anything like that, you can just use top coat and just slowly just keep building it up. Don't do too thick layers in case they don't cure properly. There's also, I have a no wipe sculpting type of gel as well, which is a really, really thick gel that you can use as well. So there's a few different options depending on also how high and 3D that you want your bauble to be as well. So I'm going to pull a little bit of this out with my cuticle pusher, and I'll pop that onto my palette. And then I'm going to use my cleanup brush because it's a little bit thicker, so I'll be able to pick up a little bit of a larger sort of bead. And I'm going to pop that right around where I want that bauble. And I'm just gently kind of swooping it around until I've dropped that where I want it. And then I'll go in with my liner brush and just start to make that circle. Pop it down, and I'll leave a small gap at the top because I'm going to have the little top part of my bauble. And as soon as you pop this clear down as well, you'll see that the glitter starts to sparkle again through that clear. So I'll keep working with it. I'll go back with my larger brush as well and just moving and manipulating it around until I get the shape that I'm after, and just making sure that I've covered all of that glitter. Pretty happy with that. I'm going to wipe off my pointy brush, and I've got some isopropyl alcohol in a little dapping dish here if I need it. And if there is anywhere where my bauble is looking a little bit too big or it hasn't gone in the place that I want it to, I can use that to just tidy it up a little bit. But I'm fairly happy with how that looks. It's not perfect yet, but that's okay because I'm going to add some top coat, and when I do my little top and bottom parts for my bauble, I'll be changing the shape a little bit with top coat. So I will give that another cure now and cure that thicker gel. So now what I'm going to do is actually chrome on top of my bead, so where my bauble is. So I'm going to add a top coat now because I want to have that chrome layer. So I'm using a tack-free, this one is the George Glossy, and it's tack-free and it's really good for chrome because it sticks really well. So I'm going to pick that up with my liner brush, and I'm going to get quite a bit and just drop that pretty much right in the middle. And again, I'm just moving it around and covering that whole bauble circle area, but just trying not to go too far off the edge, because if it sort of drips down, you'll lose that roundness of your bauble. It's okay if it goes right to the edge, but just not over. Okay, and then I'll give that a cure. So now I'm going to burnish my chrome into my bauble. So I have a chrome here. I have my little, it's an eyeshadow applicator, and then I'm just rubbing that into the surface of that tack-free top coat that I just put on. Get that all around, and then with a soft dusting brush, I just dust off the excess there, and then you get that really cool iridescent look. And now we want to top coat over that again to make sure that we lock in that chrome layer. So I'm picking that up again on my liner brush, and again just sort of dropping that off in the middle, and then just using my brush to manipulate that around to where I want it to go, and that'll just lock in that chrome layer, and then that's ready for another cure. Okay, now I'm going to put these little caviar beads on the top and bottom. So I have a little tray here that has all different colors in there, and I think I like to put black on the top and then a little silver one down the bottom to match that silver string. So I'll use 3 black beads at the top part to make it look like it's wider at the bottom and it narrows out. And I've still got a little bit of that top coat on my palette. So I'm just going to pop that down right at the top of that bead, just a little dot of that top coat. And then with the sticky top coat that's still on my liner brush, I can pop down those little beads, and they actually just fell down into place, which is amazing. That never happened, but we'll let that happen. And then that's ready for another cure. Now with that top coat again, just pop a little bead down at the bottom and pop just one caviar bead right at the bottom there, and just keep that all in line with that string there in the center, and then give that another cure. So now to make the sticker look hand painted, I actually just went along just the edge of that white with the gel paint, just to make it look a little bit more like it's been hand painted. So you could do that with clear, or you could do that with a white if you have a white that is tack free, like my one. If you don't, just do it with a clear top coat, and just ever so lightly just going over those lines of the sticker, and that will just give it the illusion that it's been hand painted, and give that a cure. Okay, so we're almost at the end now. The last step is just these lines across the bauble. So back in with my liner brush again and that white gel. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be a tack-free gel for this step, because I'm putting the glitter into it. So it doesn't have to be tack-free if you don't have a tack-free one. So starting from that top area, and I'm just curving in a really like loose kind of S shape, I guess. And I just start really thin and just go in and add more gel to get the shape how I want it, and just making sure no curing until the lines have been sugared. So you can do one line at a time and sugar it, or you can do all of your lines and then sugar it at the very end, but just be careful not to pop your finger in it by accident. I'm just using a cleanup brush. If I've made any mistakes, I can just use a little cleanup brush with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on it, just to clean any of those lines up. Now I'll show you on this one how I would sugar that line now. So I'm just using a cuticle pusher. It has a little scoop. I try to hold it over that little pot, take it off the tip, and then just sprinkle that on top. Tap off the excess. You don't want to brush off the excess, you just want to tap off the excess, and then pop that in for a cure. And then once it's cured, then you can dust off with a dusting brush. Now I've finished all of those detail lines, and I'm going to cure it one more time after sprinkling the sugar glitter on top. So that is the finished product of this festive bauble nail look. Super cute. Let us know in the comments what you think or what you would like to see for the next design. But yeah, really easy. Give it a go. I would love to see your recreations. Very cute, and enjoy your Christmas.